You can only see us right now. We're having the mother of all dance parties. Ooh, nice move. I dig it.
I call this the rolling with advantage.
I like it. Ahpook's in the background, and he's doing the splits, and he's rolling his fists as though he is tossing a pizza pie crust. It's pretty remarkable. Jonesy's doing a head spin. Nice. I like it. I should actually let people see it, but no. It's ThursdAGE, and on Thursday, on ThursdAGE, what happens on Thursday, we talk about all kinds of good stuff related to Age, the adventure game engine. Now, that's our proprietary sort of tool that resolves issues and conflicts with monsters and puzzles and successes and stunts and all kinds of good stuff. Chris Primus made that up all by himself, sort of put it together and put it out into the world. And so I thought today would be a great day to talk about virtual tabletop. We were just getting off of Gen Con, and I feel super weird. Like, I don't know if it's just the normal weirdness or if I'm just like, if it's an existential dread. But here to help me is our very dear friends and family, fellow Ronin. Here they come. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Howdy.
We've got an Ahpook, we've got a Jonesy, and we've got some stuff to talk about. We have, over the course of the last couple months, released a ton of stuff, and I thought, heck, why not? Let's talk about it. First of all, Jonesy, as the captain of the team, talk to me about what the team is, what you do, as though nobody knows.
Okay, well, my name is Jonesy. I am the head wrangler, lack of a better term, and a guy in the trenches for the virtual tabletop initiative for Green Ronin. So I kind of lead the charge. I'm taking all the cool stuff that Malcolm and Joseph and Kenson and the rest of the team build for tabletop and go, okay, that's great. Now, what about those player players who have members that are across the country, across the world? How can they play? And I kind of prioritize and kind of get that stuff. And with the help of the team, we kind of tackle it and divide it and get it to the platforms that we can as fast as we can.
And what are our platforms right now?
We are currently supporting Roll20. We have a partnership with Fantasy Grounds, so we help them get, and they do some of the lifting as well on that side, but we get them the content that they use. And then we are in the process of rolling out. We are actively behind the scenes working on a bunch of stuff for Foundry, which will be coming soon to
I just want to pause you for 1 second. Did everybody hear that? I really wanted to get that out at the beginning of the program. That is Foundry is on the list as we have promised, and it's coming. So no need to ask.
Yeah, actually, I had a really great talk with the guy from Foundries at Gen Con. So, yeah, super excited about that. And then we have a yet undisclosed new partnership coming up soon that we'll be announcing really soon.
I dig it. A secret partnership. I like that. And then Ahpook, we know you, we love you. What do you do? What is your role in all of this VTT terrificness?
Well, I primarily focus on Mutants and Masterminds and getting that line out and on the VTT. I work with Jonesy and we coordinate all that kind of stuff. And I help with the other lines when they need help. And they help with Mutants and Masterminds when I need help. And that's what we do.
I love it. Now, and the process of getting things up and sort of sorted, it's not just sort of pushing a button, right?
No. Yeah, it's definitely not just pushing a button.
I think that there are some people that they're so excited, and I don't begrudge people their excitement. As a matter of fact, I enjoy it. And it's nice to be, that we have folks that are really looking forward to the things that we do, but I think that they might not necessarily grok the process. Can we unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, totally. So the first step is to look at what's coming, what we have currently, what's coming, what's in the pipeline, what can be done, and what. And we try to. I look at like an 80-20 rule. What will have the biggest impact? The 80% impact with the smallest amount of lift that we can get into people's hands right away, so they don't have to wait too long.
Okay, help me out with that. You're saying like how get the project 80% done so it can that it's usable.
Well,
is that what you mean?
What will give the audience the biggest use the fastest, like if it's going to take us 100% effort to do the small little project, is it really worth it versus another project that it only takes us 20% of effort to get it out there right away?
Okay, so some complex math that so we'll okay, great, that's awesome. And then what?
And then we take we get together the assets that were used to build the product, whether it was, let's say, astonishing adventures for assembled as an example, because that was one that we just recently worked on. It was getting the text, the finalized text that we had to load in, all the art assets, whether they be maps, character art. If it's character art, we have to create tokens to match the art. That hasn't been done yet because it doesn't need to be. Tokens aren't made for the book version. It's adding any other context or plugging holes that we might need something that doesn't exist yet, like a piece of artwork that doesn't exist for an NPC, or adjusting how we're going to cover that if there isn't art available.
Right. Or a map or something.
Exactly. Yep. And then it's taking all that and actually loading it in the platform. And the loading in the platform varies depending on the platform itself. And then doing any kind of what they call macros or coding that will tie stuff together, such as linking the pages together so I can jump from one to another page really easy, or I can click a button and it will roll the appropriate dice for the fire trap that's set off, or adding all the dynamic lighting to the maps, because that's all done by hand. It's step by step. We have to put in the walls that will then block the light and add all the lighting.
Yeah, and I think that's important to talk about. Each one of these are bespoke, hand dipped, farm to table, organic, ethically sourced, products.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see here real quick. Oh, hey, you know what? I'm ignoring chat, not because I mean to, but because my brain is in 40 different places. But it's not COVID, so I don't know. Nate, good to see you, Nate. Nate's talking about not me, Troy, and down with the sickness. Oh, sure. That's a classic. Everyone loves that. Temp says, "What is a man? What can change the nature of a man? Is it possible to turn a man into a manatee?" We discussed that before we went live today.
Yes, only through the darkest of eldritch magics.
Right. Yeah. What was your vote, Ahpook? Your vote was.
Oh, well, it definitely could be attributed to TMNT science, of course.
Yes, right. And mine is, man, I feel like a woman, and that really is it. Let's see here. Who else we got? We got lots of folks. Okay, hey, do me a favor, friends. My cousin, my good old cuz, disembodied voice, hanging out saying, "You had me at Foundry." Yeah, people are very excited about that. So if you have questions, friends, about VTT stuff, do feel free to ask it, and we will do our level best to construct a fabulous lie. So Ahpook, when it comes to sort of your contribution to the M&M stuff, you don't just push a button, right? Or you just don't like kind of you don't make like photocopies of the books and then just sort of paste them up around town for people to explore.
That's what we did in the old days, Troy, but not anymore. Now we got this thing called the interwebs.
Ooh.
And you can get on there and pretty much everything Jonesy was just talking about is exactly what we do. We break down we take a product and we break it down into its parts. That's the adventure text, that's any art assets, character tokens, maps, and then stuff that are features inherent to the different VTTs themselves, like you were talking about. Like on Roll20, maps have dynamic lighting, and they now have interactable doors and windows and all that kind of stuff that they're putting on the platform. So when we put the new Astonishing Adventures Assembled out, which is a collection of previous Astonishing Adventures that have been published and that we put on Roll20 in the past, we took this opportunity to give them a big upgrade. So we added all kinds of new art. We added at least one map to all of them, which they didn't have any maps before, most of them. Some of them got several maps.
Let's pause on that real fast. Talk to me about the process of bringing in a new map for an established, sometimes it's something that, it just was missing or it just wasn't an offering in the original stuff, or it's, an additional sort of kind of a map pack or something. Talk to me about like, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, you take, first of all, you take the art of the map itself that has been published or contracted for, and then we upload that into the VTT. The maps are typically made to a specific scale, and so we make sure to upload it into the VTT at that scale.
Right.
And then, as you were saying, we go over it there's a tool called the Dynamic Lighting tool, which you can then lay down lines to where the walls and other things like columns and other things that would block line of sight. You lay down lines on top of those, like almost tracing over them. And then that Roll20 will then see that as an obstacle for each player from their perspective as they move around that may or may not block light. Now, like I was saying, they just added doors and windows and stuff. So now a GM can put a door there and can either have it be locked or even have it be secret. And then once the players know it's there, they can open it themselves if the GM allows it. We've added all those kinds of features into the stuff that we.
Well, that's awesome.
Put on
Now,
previously.
I appreciate the deeper dive on how the tool works, but more so, I was like, when you're working with let's say an existing piece, right? Let's say something that was published prior that was missing a map. Mm-hmm. How do you then integrate that? Like, are you working with a map maker? Are you, how does that work? A cartographer? Are you like, talk to me about that part.
Well, yeah, that's the actual acquisition of the map is something that's above my head particularly, but the publishers will work with an artist, and they'll go over the adventure together and be like, we need a map for this scene and or for that scene, and they'll work together and they'll come up with the map, keeping in mind that this is going to be, it's not just an illustrative map, it's a map players are going to have to move their characters around on. So it has to be to some kind of a scale.
Yeah. Joe, do you want to add some thoughts to that? Please do.
Yeah. So for this one, for Astonishing Adventures Assembled as an example, we worked with Hal, who's our art director for Green Mountain, and Hal was able to get us the original files and stuff for all the new maps that were going to go into the book version. And he was able to get us those files that then we were able to basically patch. We did a patch for the existing files. So the other cool thing is that if you bought it before, you got the updated version with the new map for Roll20, because we worked with Roll20 to patch that into it. So anyone who had it, like they bought it before, they got the extra map now, because as a kind of thank you for buying it, and we want to make sure you get the coolest version. So
not only that, but Roll20, the way they have sort of a like a pricing sliding scale where if we put a bundle of stuff together like we did in this case, if perhaps you in the past have previously purchased one or two parts of the bundle, then when you buy the full bundle, it'll prorate the cost based on what you already have, and it'll be that much more reduced for you.
Cool. I dig that. I dig that a lot. That's a fair way to do it, and I appreciate the kind of concern that goes into that, but I really love the fact that we will look at sort of previous release stuff and plus it up with the map.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something we look at. We try to go back and look at whenever we have a chance or have the opportunity, or like in this case, they were getting new maps done. So I immediately said, hey, Hal, this is a couple of the ones that we would recommend. And, obviously it's up to, since this was Mutants and Masterminds, it's more up to Alex and team. But
that's right. Yeah.
But they ask us a lot for our opinions about what would be most useful for players in some cases, especially for VTT. It's really a collaborative process with the rest of the other teams in Green Ronin, which is amazing.
We've got a question from Temp who says, "Is this Green Ronin's this is Green Ronin Publishing's first foray into virtual tabletop?" And I would say it. So yes and no. Yes, in that this team is relatively new-ish. I mean, and we'll say 2 years, right? About 2 years. Is it 3 years?
3 years.
3 years, yeah. So, so new as it relates to the industry, but here long enough to have experienced a thing or two. But I think we've been doing something with fantasy. What is it? It's
Fantasy Grounds. Yep.
Fantasy Grounds for almost a decade or something, like a long time anyway.
Quite a while, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're a partner team, so they basically we work with them to get them the tools, the pieces that they need so they can load it into their system. They do all the lifting for Foundry. Sorry, for the Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nate says, I really love the subject and the age, the Expanse on VTT. Yeah, it's. So the Expanse right now, we've got it. Let's do a little mapping of where our stuff is. And there are links, of course, in our show notes. And so if you're hanging out in here and you're like, I want to see this stuff, you can click through and find yourself transported as if by magic to our different marketplaces and offerings. But so what do we have right now in the world by way of titles, and where might we find them on what platform?
For Foundry, the first offering, we've got the quick start up on Foundry already. That's already out there for free for the Expanse. We are going to be releasing the full version of the Expanse relatively soon. I had gotten, like I said, I'd met with the Foundry folks over at Gen Con, and I also got an update to the team member who's helping a lot with that, which is Charlotte. Over on Fantasy Grounds, our partners have a bunch of Freeport items up on there for Pathfinder, as well as Mutants and Masterminds. Freedom City's up there, a few other cool things. But we also have a large chunk of items up on Roll20 right now. We've got a ton of Astonishing Adventures for Mutants and Masterminds. We've got some pre-generated character packs for Mutants and Masterminds.
Nice.
So you can just jump in and play right away. We've got the hero archetypes, we got the cosmic hero archetypes, we got the hero high PL8 archetypes. So we've got a fair amount of M&M stuff on there. There's always room for more M&M stuff, but we've got a fair amount, and there's more than a few items in the backlog and wish list that I've kind of shared with Ahpook, and Ahpook's got his own list as well. So
I'm imagining, yeah,
we got plenty to do.
Talk to me a bit about making those decisions and deciding kind of what. How do we come to that, and what sort of drives that, and how very small is the influence when people bug us on a regular basis about, say, one particular thing?
Well, what drives it is part of it is it something we can reasonably do at this time? Are there any blockers to it? Because sometimes there's some blockers. We've been asked in the past to do a couple of our other licensed properties, which we can't do because it's licensing, or we've been asked to do something that there's a technical limitation on it, or a time constraint on it. Like, we just don't have the man hours to put at that level of a project right now. A good example is the Freeport, the big 400-page Freeport book for Pathfinder. We just don't have the manpower right now to dig into that, given our other priorities. And part of it's, what is the biggest amount of our crowd want to play right now actively and asking us for? So, as an example, the Expanse, it is high on the list because, and M&M because it's high on the list because it's our flagline game. It's one of the most popular games we have, things like that. And then also, I'm also looking at what do we promise people? Like, example, Cthulhu Awakens is part of our Kickstarter, and since it's part of our Kickstarter, it goes to the top of the list. Because we promised people. Yep. So
folks will come to you with priorities.
Yeah. So I'll work with I'll kind of come up with my suggestions for priorities, and then I'll take it to leadership of the team. Going, what makes the most sense? What are we about this project? What do you think is going to have the biggest impact on the largest amount of players? Because we want to try to get it into the hands of the most the largest group of players right away.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. And so the thing to remember, everybody, is that if you really bug us forever and you continue to bother us, we will ultimately at some point get the thing done. So your feedback is always welcome. Let's see here. Is there a place to see all this stuff? Yes, there is, Nate. If you check our show notes, you will see some links to our VTT places. But the thing I want to show right now is why it's this. Let's see. I think I might move you two over to the side. Here we go. What is this?
This is our brand new Cthulhu Awakens character sheet for Roll20. To
Sweet.
officially support Roll20. It went live while we were at Gen Con. When we were flying home from Gen Con.
That's right, yeah.
The stars aligned while we were flying across country, all making our tracks and avoiding storms.
That's right, yeah.
Storms. And we've been working with one of our developers. His name is Richard. He's amazing.
We do like us some Richard.
He is an amazing gentleman. So we've got what I'm referring to as version 1 of our character sheet out.
Okay. And what does that mean? What are you communicating when you say it's version 1?
I expect we're going to get some feedback on ways we can improve it, because there's only so much that a few of us on the behind the scenes building the sheet can discover. Like, we think this is going to work well, but then once we get in the hands of thousands of players, we might find better ways of doing it based on the feedback.
Right. Okay, that's awesome. So how do they get feedback to you in this context?
So there's a couple different ways. The easiest way is either to shoot an email to letsplay@greenomen.com and it then gets forwarded over to me. Or you can always poke me on the Discord. I'm on the Green Ronin Discord. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, and there are regular conversations where folks are kind of sharing their thoughts, and which is kind of nice because it informs the long haul of a character sheet, because many of these while Cthulhu Awakens is brand spanking new, it borrows from a legacy of character sheets that have been around for a minute.
Yeah.
I hope that someone's being arrested right now. Is that you, Ahpook? Is it you, Jonesy? Oh no.
I that should probably have been the fire department that's close to my house. So hopefully.
We don't need no water. Okay, look at this. So let's take a look at this character sheet. Talk me through it. Walk me through it.
Well, so this is kind of the landing page, the first page you see when you open the sheet. It should look really familiar to those who've been playing our Fantasy Age games or some of our other games on Roll20. So we've got areas to put our focuses, our stats for abilities, and so across the top we have right under the name stuff. We have our little tabs. So it defaults to the character tab, but we also have a persona tab and a qualities tab that let us.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
That let us add extra items. Our talents, super popular. It's where we put our talents and specializations. Our little Bob, our little example cultist, has the cultist as a expertise level.
Oh, little Bob.
Yep. And then the big updates for this specific version of the sheet. Couple updates, but we did the psychic tab, which is near the edge. Yep. Which lets us put in our psychic. The new psychic powers for Cthulhu, if you're playing with those, and it does an auto roll for
these little dice buttons or the auto roll.
Yeah, it'll do. So there's a slight mechanic change for psychic powers in Cthulhu versus how they work in Modern Age. For those of you who haven't had a peek at it yet, there's a new price that you have to pay, and if you fail the price test, there's some feedback and some consequences.
A bargain at any price, but what's the new price you pay?
And so it will do the auto rolling for both.
Your mortal soul.
Oh, what if you're already missing that?
You're
gonna have to do something.
Will they take an IOU?
Yeah.
Nice.
And
all right.
The other big one was alienation, which is the alienation tab covers a lot of the new rules specifically for Cthulhu Awakens. So it lets us track our alienation tests. So when I run into or read the evil tones of Eldritch lore, or I run into the deep ones and I make those tests, I can track all that. I can add the evil artifacts I might find. I can look if you scroll down a little bit, you should see some eldritch workings and some dangerous texts I can add. And so it lets you track all that in your character sheet with whatever you find while you're on there. And then the other big thing is under the engine, under the hood, where a lot of this is supporting drag and drop right now. So when a compendium comes out, I'll be able, and I find the evil copy of the King in Yellow. I'll be able to grab the compendium, drag it over, and it will auto-populate into my dangerous text that I've got the King in Yellow.
Very nice. Hey, real quick, I want to say, hey, Conflux Visitor says, sorry, I'm late. You're right on time, friend. You might have missed some of the program, but you can rewind and watch the first part after we're done with the last part. Stan's here. Stan says, there's nothing like going live to put a real stress test on a new system. That is very, very true. And I'm really excited. The way that that we're approaching the character sheets, sort of that feedback process is not dissimilar from the way that it was done, the way that I did it in video games. That there's, and that I think is an important sort of skill that our sort of discipline, TTRPG development is sort of embracing with a little more gusto than perhaps maybe in the past. But okay, so I want to get into this. Let's see. That's the alienation tab. So the character tab is going to look pretty familiar. Nothing too entirely different, but I like the organization. And when it comes to like the color and all of that, what are our options? Are we looking to do some real customization?
Yeah. So one of the things is the first thing we wanted to get that was for version 1. We wanted to get a solid, good, pretty okay looking, but good, solid mechanically version of the sheet out so people can try it, test it, give us some feedback on it. And the cool thing about the age systems is that they get feedback, they're giving us feedback, whether it's on the Cthulhu sheet or the Fantasy Age sheet that we currently have out, or the 5th season sheet that we have out. Depending on what the feedback is, if it's general feedback, like on Talons, we may be able to apply that feedback to all the sheets because it's a similar engine.
Now, when you say all the sheets, we do have a question in chat from our friend Temp. There you go. Okay, good deal. Let's see here. So are there any character sheets for Dragon Age, Blue Rose, and Threefold?
So one of those. The Fantasy Age sheet itself, that's currently available, official Fantasy Age sheet itself. If you go in the options tab on it, has 3 options. One is for basic Fantasy Age for those who've been playing for a long time and using the basic version still. And there's also Fantasy Age 2nd edition, which does a slight modification of the sheet for like the names of some of the talents and stuff like that. And then there's also an option for Blue Rose in there, which changes the Magic tab into an Arcana tab.
Nice. The other thing that you might want to do, friend Temp, is check out some of the community forums over at Roll20 and see what they're discussing, and then they'll be hot on the conversation about all the character sheets for all the titles. Hey, the Great Rafiki's here. Good to see you, friend. Disembodied Voice says, is there a timeline for rolling out Fantasy Age assets, maps, etc. in Foundry?
Currently not. Our first goal is to get the Expanse sheet out. We are actively working on some stuff on the back end for all of our games, Age games. But we're doing some infrastructure updates to help speed up that process. But there's no timeline for Fantasy Age on Foundry yet.
Something that I want to share with everybody who is hanging out. 1 second. You need to head on over to free Ronin, so free RONIN.com. And in there, at that page, or at that, you will find a vast library of printable sheets that you can, the character sheets, and a bunch of other cool stuff. Just really lots of cool stuff. So go there, print every single thing that's there out, and then create your own compendium, and you will be able to, for your IRL sessions, pretty much have really anything that you need. I think there's even some recipes over there. So check it out. That is freeronin.com, and I will get you the link here in just a moment. It's a cool resource for cool kids like you. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's get back to this sheet and talk about what a great sheet it is. Now we've got. Oh, okay. So this looks a little kind of devoid of stuff, but you edit it and can kind of add some stuff in the bio and
Yeah,
info and
yeah, the bio and info tab, those are actually roll 20 level stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you use those a lot? The sort of roll 20s gift to the character sheets.
well, the attributes and abilities tab we do because that's where we can put in macros. We use them we use them a lot for NPCs where we can put in like or some of the NPCs we've done for some of the games. If they have a specific stunt or they have an extra attack or something specific like a monster with a venomous bite, we might put something like that in. So if I click on the token in a macro button will appear and I can click on it. So the GM doesn't have to
That's
go hunting.
awesome. So this is sort of the hooks into the as you were saying under the hood.
Under the hood. Yep. So
I like
so
it.
for NPCs and stuff, we use them when we're building adventures. A great example is like for some of the Expanse adventures, some of the favorite stunts and stuff like that are kind of already looped in there. So
nice, very nice. Okay, so we got that. We're looking at the top here. This is Bob the Cultist, Eldritch Apprentice, and I will tell you this. I'm a sucker for cosmic horror themed stuff and the language of it all, and it's all just so very angsty and deep and dark, and I love it. I'm just it's some of my favorite stuff. As it relates to some Cthulhu Awakens content and lore and all that jazz, what are you both fans?
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge fan. I ran a demo event of it at Gen Con.
I was gonna say, didn't you? Yeah, I remember that. How did people react to it?
The players really liked it, and it was so what I ran was a mini adventure that I wrote up that was meant to be like kind of a mini introduction to the game, but also something that the GM can use as a kickoff for a long-term campaign. And my plan is based on feedback I've gotten from the last couple times I ran it, is to refine a little bit, and then I'm going to add it to the Age Creators Alliance when it's available.
I dig it. Yeah, and that's an important bit of news. The Age Creators Alliance launches with the content, so that is a part and parcel of the Age Creators Alliance. I know there are a lot of people who are like, when are we getting more information? Well, we are right now in the prime sweet spot right after Gen Con. So keep your keep your tentacles moist, and you will see updates here fairly soon. We're waiting for a couple more review sessions. I know there are some people who were like, oh, I really wanted to share some feedback. Haven't forgot about you at all. But you know what I liked, Jonesy, about your the game that you ran is that you had like a whole tentacle suit. It was really well constructed, I thought.
Sure, we'll go with it being a suit.
Okay. Oh, yes, right. Yes, a suit it was.
You know what I really like about Cthulhu Awakens, I think probably my favorite part about it is the active and aware choice to sort of address the failings of the writings of H.P. Lovecraft, and which were basically the man himself and his perspectives about people.
Yeah, he was gross.
Yeah, and
gross racist guy.
Yes, but from that gross racist guy, we spawned this incredible cosmic horror genre that has influenced like pretty much every level of literature and pop culture that we're exposed to, and so sometimes it's difficult to reconcile those two things. And I think this particular game does a really good job of it, with sort of the perspective that you can come at the mythos from lots of different cultural perspectives, and the book gives you paths and ability to do that, and I think that's great.
It does, and it was that Malcolm's work on that, both in kind of collaborating with folks to sort of find a way to do that, because the mythos stuff has been taken to new places and amplified in different ways across multiple, like you were saying, multiple genres, film, TV, books, TTRPG. If there's a place where a story is told, this has entered in as a genre, and I it's refreshing for people to acknowledge the sensitivity and the problematic nature of the creator and create something so removed from that and so inclusive of everyone can play this. It is, it is meant to be like any of our other games, and it but it takes a special look at that stuff and makes it make sense to a degree. Yuck. I'm looking at our chat. And Red says, I call my the suit is what I call my skin too, and or the bone house. Yes, nice. Let's see. He's a pro's pro. Absolutely, Malcolm really is. Super great. Bad Devil says, just want to say, just want to thank Jonesy for being responsive to the R20 bug reports on Grad. It's really appreciated.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I just love this. I keep reading it because it feels like working in TTRPGs or, having endured a convention. Maybe if you have this, you have trained yourself to endure taxing, nauseating, and mind-bending tests.
Yeah.
A little weird, but let's see.
Sure.
Okay, and or rituals of mind-bending rituals. You may re-roll failed willpower, faith, and willpower self-discipline tests, but keep most of the results of the second roll. That's cool. I love that. It's that's what I mean. Like the flavor of the text is just intense.
Yep.
I dig it. Okay, so now in the persona, let's talk about that tab in general. Nate says Ahpook is very respectful and inviting on all forms of communication with me. Are you? There's something for your LinkedIn. Sorry, I don't know why that makes me laugh.
It's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a special case of
it does. It really does. It's an amusing place. Okay, so the persona is just basically what are we doing with this? What are the?
It's a great place to grab and drop down short-term goals, bonds you have with other characters, which are very useful for Cthulhu. Any kind of other notes for your appearance, any other kind of notes and stuff like that you might want to jot down about like memberships, especially like memberships in certain eldritch circles or cults.
So the bonds part, what is that talking about?
Bonds are connections you have to other players. It was an element that was taken from originally put into Blue Rose and then eventually made its way into other games where you have a connection to another player, whether positive or negative. It could be anything from your brother your little brother who you watch out for because he's always getting himself in trouble, to the six-fingered man who killed your father and and you're out for revenge.
The man who stole some bread and you're chasing him down. Him and his little waifish daughter.
Yes, well, you have the flaw that you must sing everything.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Exactly.
And it's a mechanic that gives you extra stunt points when those situations or those bonds come into play. So
awesome. Yeah, and it's just it helps kind of enrich the role play and it gives you texture and quality to your experience. I like it. Okay.
Just gives you really great ways to do automatic hooks. Like as an example, I had hooks. I used bonds with my pre-gens origins at Gen Con, and it automatically gave players RP elements to play off of right there at the table when they haven't played before.
David Buck, bonds, my bonds. I like that.
Qualities are where you'd be able to track any, like lets the GM add any special unique abilities that usually NPCs have. Like the cultist, a special ability where the cultists have that reroll. And then talents would be talents and specializations tab is going to be any of the talents and specializations you have either as a PC or NPC.
I like it. I'm reading here what Bob's got cooking.
So, and the cool thing is, so as an example, right now he's got the novice level of hard case, which is the second one on the list. If he was to go to the drop down menu and change it the next level down,
here,
it should say as example, if he changes that the next one down, if it's a drop down list, and if you click on it,
He being me, sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
then you can see he changes the expert. The expert one automatically came up, so you can read it.
I gotcha. That's great. I like that.
So it's once you drag and drop it, it drags all three of them there. So as you level up, it's already there.
And you'll
It's just
know
kinda-
when you
it's,
got
it's
it. Yeah.
quite a grayed out, and then as soon as you level up and you add it to your character, boom, it's right there.
I like it. You might be a born bruiser, a veteran of the trenches, a boxer, a wrestler, or a martial artist, but no matter the cause, the effect is the same. You know how to hurt people with your unarmed body.
Yep.
I like it.
That specific one, that specific ability lets you takes your bruise, your punching damage from 1d3 automatically up to 1d6.
Yeah.
It's a
Punch
good one.
things up.
Yeah.
Punch him up. I
So.
dig it. I dig it a lot. Very, very cool. Okay, so and of course you got to love this stuff. You're a dedicated student of esoteric mysteries and belong to an organization of mystics. I like it.
I feel seen.
Aha! I knew it. All right, cool. Let's jump over to focuses or foci.
Yeah, and so this pre-gen I didn't throw a whole lot on him yet, and it's just one I was testing with. But
Yeah,
this is one where I'd be able to add, like, if he's got a focus in certain eldritch lore, or he's got a focus in electronics or brawling, I'd be able to add those and just type it into that little.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like I could add bows there if he's good with bows, or yeah.
And so this little lock. Oh, I see. It keeps you from. So if you've got something in there and you click on the little lock, what is that telling me?
That means you can edit it and add to it.
It unlocks it.
Okay. So basically, so you don't accidentally delete something.
Yeah, right.
As you click it around, you don't. We wanted an extra step so you didn't delete something on error.
Yeah. So. Oh gosh, yeah. Super smart. I like that. Very cool. Okay, so then we've got your psychic. Sort of, is it your power, your psychicness, yep. Or is it? Does it also include sort of the crush of the world around you, kind of psychic damage at all, or is that?
This would be if you decide to bring in like Firestarter and psychic powers into your Cthulhu game, the players can actually use, where they have ESP and telekinesis and all that kind of cool stuff.
I like that. Yeah.
So personally, I totally foresee a Cthulhu Firestarter kind of mashup thing with. In my near future.
You got dreams. You got dreams. I like it. And then go for it.
And so so this is where you'd be able to add those powers, which are optional rules in Cthulhu Awakens. So if you're playing with those rules, you can add them. If not, then it's just a tab you can just click over it. So it's not taking up too much space.
Yeah. So and then of course we talked just a little bit about alienation, but any sort of more detail we want to share about that? As so it works on the character sheet.
Yeah, so the alienation, this is where you'd have the psychic damage from just reading too many of this esoteric books or reading that stuff would go in that first little alienation section at the top. So on the left hand side. So as this example, entities, if I was running into like a deep one, I would be able to go and make my roll based on clicking that little dice right there, and then. If I fail or succeed, I'd be able to make notations on there so that would affect my role in the future. So
nice, very nice. Okay, and what have we got here? This is for. So is this just for you? Kind of make note of maybe some what's happening to you, like, and sort of. Go for it.
And that little widget on the right side is where I'd be able to add any of the artifacts and evil things I find. So, cool. As an example, if you scroll down just a little bit, I've added one of the artifacts on there already, so you can kind of see a description of what it does. And there's an alienation revelation test I have to make under certain circumstances, and so I'd be able to click it and roll it right from the sheet.
Cool. Whoa.
These ones are a little. Text heavy, so we made it a little box that you can with the scroll bar on it, because some of them get a little wordy, which is not bad. It's just
yeah.
Some of the it's Cthulhu. They have rich history.
They do have a rich history. Okay, well that is a lot of stuff. Anything else that we want to make sure we cover before we jump off the character sheet?
Other than, like I said, this is version 1. I'm working with Richard are ready to do a small update. We do have a couple other updates that are in the plans, and one of them is to also kind of finesse the look and feel of it to make it feel a little bit more like the one that the character sheet's going to be in the rulebook when it comes out for everyone. But yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now, so Temp, I'm going to take your question back with me and ask it of Malcolm. He did that little stinker ended up sharing quite a bit of information on one of our sort of ad hoc streams that we did from Gen Con. And he's like, this is stuff that nobody's ever shared before. And it was great.
Yeah.
It was fun. Super fun. But Temp asks, before you finish the show, I want to add something. You said that Swords of the Shadow Planet is a planetary romance, but would Turok, as published by Valiant Comics, also be a good influence on it? So we'll ask that question, and we're gonna look at something off the schedule, sort of a Malcolm's Day, where we will sit and interrogate and have all kinds of opportunity to sort of ask those questions. Stan, good to see you, friend. Turns out that the eldritch items that man was not meant to know about require a substantial text block.
Yep.
That's right.
A mind-bending amount of text.
Text.
Mind-bending even.
Let me just say, when I was working on these sheets and stuff with Richard, and also working on the compendium pieces in the back end, the entry for the Necronomicon is a little overwhelming. just
Oh yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever read. Just in general, the Necronomicon's a pretty weighty read.
But yeah, the entry block with all the stuff it can do, and that, and it's I'm like, how are we gonna make this work?
I had to keep mine in the bathroom, or else I never would have finished it. It's like the only time I have a chance to read anything.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you got to really invest, and that is about sort of the bite-sized moments you really want to spend reading the Necronomicon. It is. It's very dense, and it's got a vibe. Hey, so a quick question. Cthulhu Awakens, what's the status of that in general? So how can people play?
Right now, they can go to Roll20 and create a game with the character sheet right now as of this week.
Well, what will they use to play?
Well, if they were a Kickstarter backer, they should have gotten their backer preview PDFs over the Gen Con weekend.
Oh.
I got a peek at mine because I backed it before I joined the Green Running team. So I was backer number 1 or number 2. I don't remember which one I landed on, but I was one of the first 2 spots. Because Eldritch Horror and Age were just something I had to have. So
right.
But yeah, so I got the notification when I was at Gen Con. Your preview edition is there if you're a backer for Kickstarter. So it should. And then I think we're going to release the PDF soonish.
Soon. But folks who are interested in learning more, I'm going to send you back in time to an article Malcolm wrote up. Malcolm likes to do these mashups, and so he did a mashup with Cthulhu Awakens and let me see here, and Modern Age. So check that out. But we have talked on this program about all kinds of mixes like Blue Rose and Cthulhu, and just a lot of good stuff. And that's kind of that's the beauty of the adventure game engine. Many pieces of it are meant to inform and be a tool that you can utilize across multiple, and even maybe sometimes you're going to take an idea from the the adventure game engine toolbox and take it over to I don't know, what is that? Did not disturb. I can't remember the name of it. It's a little indie joint with a bunch of wizards. But yeah, you can do all that. Let's see. Cliff Note. Yeah, exactly.
Did you want to hear something funny?
I do. I love funny.
So there is in Blue Rose Adventure, the Night Market from Six of Swords, there's a small nod to Cthulhu type stuff that I slipped into my Night Market adventure.
I like it.
Specifically NPC that may or may not be a nod to Eldritch Horror and Cthulhu and Lovecraft in that adventure. So if you wanted to do something Cthulhu and Blue Rose, you might want to peek at the Night Market.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there might be some sensibilities that resonate. I like it a lot. Okay, so gentlemen, the both of you, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for all the stuff that we're doing to kind of get into these various VTT platforms. There's so much going on, and and I know at times it may feel like a slog, but everybody really appreciates the work that you're doing, and the community sees it, and there's much rejoicing, and just by nature of the good work you do, a lot of requests for more. And so at least they're not begging us to stop, which is nice. So thank you for that good stuff. Can either of you give me a little, starting with you, Ahpook, where can folks find you? Where can they learn more about the stuff that you do that spans a lot of different titles?
Yeah. Well, of course, you can find all of our Mutants and Masterminds products on the Roll20 marketplace, and I've had a hand in doing all of those. And also, if you want to once you take a look at that and you're ready for some games, you should come on over to the Freedomverse Discord server, where the world's largest Mutants and Mastermind community, with over 2,000 people and going strong. So come on over. We run multiple games, both tabletop through Roll20, and we've got a very vibrant play-by-post community as well. So if you want to get your super on, come on down and join us. We love having people join the game.
Absolutely. So what's the best way for folks to find, to get access to the Freedomverse?
Well, I think the easiest way is to get on Discord, and we're in the Discord directory for servers, but also we can provide a link here, and we also have the official Freedomverse website. If you look up Freedomverse Discord, you'll find it.
Nice. There's the welcome Freedomverse. Oops.
Welcome to the Freedomverse.
Welcome to the Freedomverse. I dig it. Why did that link get absconded? I don't know why. So look for that stuff. Ahpook, always a pleasure to have you on. I think we've had you on 1,000,000 times now.
1,000,001, but there's never enough.
Never enough. Thank you, my friend. Jonesy, where can folks find you?
You can find me on the Twitters still. I have not gotten a Blue Sky invite yet.
I'll get you one. You got it. Yeah, but also we're calling it Twitter. Everybody, we don't give a twit.
Yes.
About the new name. Yeah.
I'm still calling it Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me.
Are they going to find you just like? Should they just like throw a rope out there or like kind of yodel into the Twitter skies, and then
that would be really awesome if they could.
Videos.
It's GM Jonesy on Twitter.
Okay, nice.
You can also find me on Discord. I'm on the Grad, which is the Green Ronin Age Appropriate Discord. Yeah. And I'm on there, and I kind of haunt the VTT channels. Especially, I taunt everywhere, but I haunt the VTT channels specifically. And then you can also find me over at Untold Stories Project,
that's a good place too. Yeah, what goes on there?
Where we stream a bunch of stuff. We stream a bunch of Mutants and Masterminds, where I'm getting to play Mortis, my necromancer superhero and guy who's going through a lot of trauma right now, thanks to Alex. And later during the spooky season, we usually run a bunch of one shots, and I'm currently planning a Cthulhu Awakens one shot right now for our two-parter for our streaming channel. So
I like that. So where do we? What is the? There are a lot of untold stories on the internet. How do we find untold stories? This particular one. I was just looking for the link, and I did not see it. And usually, I can have it. I've upgraded to Windows 11, so who knows what kind of madness is coming my way. But yeah, you have a linky I can share.
I'm working on that.
Okay. No, yeah, you continue working on that. That's great. Yodel into the Eldritch Abyss. Yes, absolutely. I like it. Bad Devil says, if they didn't want us to call it Twitter, they should not have spent millions of dollars to market that name. Agreed.
Sent you that direct link to the server, Troy.
Excellent. Did you send that to me in that place we put that one thing that one time?
Yep.
Nice. Oh, I see it. Thank you both. Here's our Untold Stories project on that, and that's the Twitch channel. And so many different streamers and a bunch of folks doing, and Alex is that's an Alex Thomas joint, and we love that. And then
That's
here's
actually how I met Alex, was through streaming. Yep.
yeah, that's awesome. We love Alex, and speaking of Alex, every Monday we do Mutants and Masterminds Mondays, where we all get together and we talk about superhero stuff. And I love that program. It's one of my favorites. It's we always have a good time. We've got Steve Kenson, the Mutants and Master Daddy. He sort of keeps. I feel like he's the centering force. And then, of course, me and all my chaotic nature, and I was chaotic good. I would say.
Neutral.
Depends on who you are. Not
Depends
neutral.
on the day.
Sure. Yeah, it depends on the day. And then Alex Thomas, who is just a joy to hang out with and talk to, and is, these are folks who are up to their eyeballs. Their lives are committed to the Mutants and Masterminds TTRPG. So come and check out Mumamo. That's the short hashtag for our little excursion into the world of superheroes, and we have a lot of fun. So that's 2 p.m. Mondays. We're just in the same studio. We just kind of move things around, swap out the skin suits, and have a good time. Hey, you two, thank you so very much. As per usual, I want to say, friends in chat, we love you. Thank you so much for all your support and your fun and your great questions and your passion for the products that we're creating. I think it's really nice to see. We value it. We value you, and we appreciate your time. Don't forget to spend more of it with us. And if you got an idea or a thought or question, maybe you need some relationship advice, or perhaps you've got some kind of a weird rash, send over a note to letsplay@greenorneeding.com, and I will send all of those things to Jonesy and to Ahpook for them to give you some advice on how to handle it. But yeah, if you've got an idea, we can incorporate it into the program. We love listening to the community and engaging with folks. And and everybody, when you see Nate out there in the wilds of the internet, which I'm certain you will, say hey, give him a pat on the back. Give him a little smooch on the cheek and say, Nate, you're doing good stuff. With that, friends, I say to you a goodbye. Oh, I was going to play a song before we go. How about this? Listen to this. You like it?
So 80s. So
Jonesy
80s.
hanging out with his...
Going down to the mall, guys.
That's right. Jonesy just got high score on Galaga. And Ahpook, you strike me as a sort of... what were those little sleeves for your feet? For your legs?
Leg warmers.
Leg warmers. I see you in neon leg warmers. And then we all end the
Can
shot.
you see me right now?
We sure can. All right, friends. We will